Comfort Shoe Company manufactures sandals, and we're showing that 0.5% of their sandals are defective. So we've got this crate of 100 different sandals in which 3 of them are going to be tested. We're trying to find out the probability that 1 or more sandals are defective, and we're asked to round it. Okay, so we can do this. Now, the probability that 1 or more is defective, let's see, so we can have 1 be defective, we can have 2 be defective, or we can have all 3 be defective. We can calculate the probability that 1 is defective, then we can add that to the probability that 2 are defective, and then add that to the probability that all 3 are defective. That will work. And we can add all those together. There is a simpler way, a little bit easier way to do it, and that is if we can figure out what the probability is that none are defective, then subtract that from 1. So at least one that is defective is equal to 1 minus the probability that 0 of all of those 3 that are tested, 0 of those are defective. If we find out that that is the case, then that is equal, this 1 minus 0 are defective, is equal to at least one of those being defective. Remember that the largest quantity, largest number we can have in probability is 1, that's 100%. So if we can just find out what the probability is that they're all perfect, not defective, subtract that from 1, then that means that is going to be the probability that at least one of those is defective. So let's bring in our binomial formula, and this is our binomial formula here. We have the combination here in P and Q, and we'll go through all those right now. Okay, so we've got P is the probability that it is defective, and Q is the probability that it is not defective. Okay, so when we're plugging those into our formula, we'll figure this out. The probability that it is defective tells us it's 0.5%. We're going to have to convert that to a decimal. We'll do that in just a moment. And the probability that it's not defective would be 90. Let's see, that would be 99.5%, and we'll have to convert that as well. Now let's find out what our N and our R are. Okay, so we've got N is 3. That's the number of sandals that are tested. R is our number of successes. That would be 0 because we want 0 of these to be defective. Okay, so let's bring in our what we're actually trying to do here. We're trying to find out what the probability that 0 of those are defective. So first we have to do the combination. We're going to do 3 choose 3. Now, excuse me, 3 choose 0, sorry. The reason why we're doing 3 choose 0 and not 100 is because we're only testing 3. And of those 3, we want 0 of them to be defective. Okay. So 3 choose 0 will work perfect for us. Next, we bring in the probability here that the sandal is defective, and that's this 0.5%. Now, if we convert that to a decimal, remember we've got to move it over 2, so that's 0.005. And then we've got to multiply that by the probability that it is not defective. So the probability that it's not defective is going to be 0.995. Okay, now we can start filling in this. We know what our R value is. We want 0 to be our R value. And the Q, we're looking up here to this exponent, n minus r. N is 3 and r is 0, so 3 minus 0. 3 minus 0 is just 3. Now, these two numbers right here, this 0 and this 3, must total up to the total n value. Okay, now we're just going to plug this one into our calculator, and you can do that just like it is right here. It'll work out just fine. And you find out that this is your answer here for the probability that 0 are defective. Now, a shortcut here, after you do these for a while, you can start to determine a couple shortcuts, and one of them right here is anything raised to the 0 power is 1. So this is 1 right here. This right here, 3 choose 0, is also 1. 0 factorial is 1, and then 3 minus 0 is 3. So we got 3 factorial over 3 factorial, which is 1. So really all you really have to do is just, we've got 3 of them, we're trying to find out the probability that 0 are defective. We go 0.995 cubed will work as well. That's our shortcut. But if you use this formula, it works every time as well. It's an extra step, but not that hard. Okay, so that is the probability that 0 are defective. But that's not what our question asked. Our question asked the probability that 1 or more are defective. So 1 or more, so let's go right here. At least 1 defective is 1 minus this probability. So now we've got to take 1 and subtract this probability right here. So 1 minus this number right here. Now we have to round it to the nearest 9 decimals it shows. So we've got to make sure that we do that correctly. But this is your probability that at least one of those sandals will be defective. It's 0.01492. It's all the way down the line. So not a very large probability, but we knew that going in because it's not a very high probability that one of the sandals is defective in the first place. So